Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dirty Laundry. I'm your host, Code Marvelous, and today I'm joined by Brian Holland from the Winning Agenda. Why don't you say hi and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey everybody, as Code Marvelous said, I'm Brian Holland, all the way here from salty, steamy, hot Australia, down Melbourne way. I'm the host of the Winning Agenda podcast. If people know me, they probably know me from that. We do a weekly podcast focused mostly on competitive play, but also a lot of community building and diversity building among the community in general. So yeah, most people probably know me from that if you know me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of your guys' work. I think one of the things that I enjoy most about it, in my own humble opinion, is the varying voices that you get by having a lot of different hosts and having like a rotating cast of different people who will come on and talk about different topics. I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, we always, when we were first conceptualizing the podcast, we always wanted to have like a diverse panel of people that could change, and we bring on guest people to talk about things, so that way we can also revisit topics that were spoken about before, but getting like a new and uh, you know just a more diverse range of opinions on certain things, which I think has really helped us a lot, and helps not just our intended to be our listeners that get helped, but it helps us actually as well become better players. So that's the overall goal, is just to get everyone to be the best they can be at Netrunner and enjoy doing it.
A noble goal, if ever there was one.
Yeah.
So we're gonna build a deck today, and you had mentioned that you wanted to talk about Spark Agency.
hmm
So tell me a little bit about why you're interested in Spark Agency as the identity for our deck build.
Well, Spark Agency, I think, is the probably the most powerful NBN identity from Data and Destiny. I originally sort of glanced over it and thought, okay, yeah, when you res a pop-up window, you lose an extra one, whatever. But then you start to think a bit more deeply on how this ability works, and what it does is it exploits a window that often isn't exploited in games of Netrunner, which is abilities that can trigger outside of your own turn. So, for instance, one thing when I realized the power of this ability was that you can have a pad campaign unresed on the table, and your opponent clicks for a credit. Now, in the window between your opponent, the end of that click and your opponent's next click, you have a res window where you can res that pad campaign and drain them of that credit. And you've essentially drained them of the click there, and that's really, really powerful and really disruptive. And you're not actually, when you're doing that, you're not actually doing anything harmful to yourself, because you're still going to res that pad campaign. The only difference is now there's actually a strategy to when you want to res it. Like other things you can do that are just really disruptive is just proactively resing a launch campaign at the end of your turn one. So your opponent starts on 4 credits, so they can't go, sure gamble or professional contacts or something straight off the bat. And there's lots of really interesting things you can do, particularly, in games of Netrunner towards the late game, when your opponents maybe doesn't have a lot of credits, and they calculate how much they need to get into a server, and they get exactly the right amount of credits, and they run, and as you're going there, you res something and drain them one, and it just falls everything apart. So it can be really, really good. And I'm yet to find the shell that I really want to slot this ability into. I had a pretty good deck, which was testing very well, but it was playing 9 most wanted list cards. So yeah, I've now thought, when you contacted me and said let's build a deck, I thought, well, let's try and have a look at the Spark deck and see if we can do something with it now that those 9 cards I had in the deck are going to be really taxing. So.
Yeah. And I think it's also going back to what you previously said. On the runner side, we really only have Haley that has this same potential to really leverage their ability off turn.
Yeah, exactly right.
But with Spark, the really neat thing is when this was first spoiled, I remember people being like, "Oh, but it's like 1 credit and runners are so rich." There was all these things. But when you see it in practical play, because I played Spark leading up to Worlds, it's just crazy how much disruption power this has.
Yeah. If you get a proliferation of advertisements like you want, especially in the early game, you can really disable your opponent's rig development and keep them in the early game for a longer period of time while at no hinderment to yourself. So you can continue to build your game plan. So I was thinking, usually with Spark, the best way to go is for a more aggressive or rush strategy. And I think that's probably what we're going to try today. It's going to be a little harder with the MWL cards, but we'll see what we can do.
All right, let's give it a go. Where do you like to start? Do you like to start with Agenda Suite, or do you like to start with something else?
I'll usually jump between things. The first thing I want to do is put 3 AstroScript pilot programs in the deck. So
Uh-oh.
we'll
All
start
right,
there.
wait,
We'll
wait,
start with
wait.
the agenda. We'll start
Let
with the
me
agenda suite, mate. No,
let,
no.
let's go and turn on
Oh yeah,
those
make
tournament
sure.
rules.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And just a
And
big shout out to Alciende. I think that's how you pronounce his username. For just getting the MWL integrated into Netrunner DB like super quickly. It
yeah,
was really,
no,
really good. I can't
he
imagine it would have been a simple thing to do.
he does great work. That's
Mm,
why I myself, and I recommend to anybody else, you donate a couple bucks his way, because
yeah.
he does provide an amazing resource, essentially free of charge.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just throw some shekels if you got them.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right. So we're already at -3 influence after the Astro script, but we still want to go for a fast advance shell. So we're going to want the fast advance pieces. We're probably not going to go for any tag punishment then, because I think while you can argue that Spark's ability it has some good synergy with trace mechanics, I don't think that it's the right identity to go into if you want to be scorching your opponent. I
let's be
think,
honest though, Brian.
yeah,
We still
yeah.
have 15 influence because we get Jacksons for free.
We do. That's true. So we're technically on 15 influence. So, I think we're only going to go. I'm a fan of usually double breaking news, but I think we can go one breaking news, 1 15 minutes. The reason I'm a fan of double breaking news for a while there is just being able to leave it on the turn, or maybe with a San and score it off and just to trash something is quite powerful, especially against a lot of the resource heavy runner builds at the moment. But I think 15 minutes is probably in a better place, just particularly for how this deck is going to have to be built now that we have to take into account some of the ice that'll be missing from the original build that I had.
Okay.
Yeah. Obviously, 3 Project Beal.
I hear it's a pretty good card.
Yeah, I've heard good things. Do you often overscore Beals? I don't think I've ever done it. I feel like I'm missing out on something.
I've done it in my my sync deck quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
this is
but
like a
it's
glacier
usually
style. You got time to do it. Yeah.
yeah, but it's usually not a huge overscore. I think I've only ever gotten like the super overscored Beal like once.
Yeah. So you just scored as a 5 for 3 otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, 3 Project Beal. Now, here's where I normally had NAPD contracts. That card is still very, very good. But in a lot of, like, I'm sure a lot of people know, like Nearest Hub decks, we're tinkering around with Exploded Palooza instead of NAPD. While Exploded Palooza is obviously really good because it gets you ahead on your money quite a lot, especially early. Like, as most people just liken it to every time if your opponent steals one, it's just a free San res for you. I'm a different kind of person to that usually because I don't like things that trigger on my opponent advancing their game plan. That's why I don't like cards like Logos. So while this ability is cool to gain 5, I'm sort of playing it, despite myself. So yeah, we're going to go with 3 Exploder Palooza because we really need that 3 influence that NAPD would take away from us. Even though I do think NAPD is probably the better choice.
So we're at
21 with this.
Yeah, we're at 21.
We're at 21 points, aren't we? Oh no, sorry. Should be only 1 breaking news and 1 15 minutes, 1 of each. Sorry, I might have confused you when I was talking about how much I love breaking news. But yeah, just shrink down to 1, and that'll take us down. All right, so is that our agenda suite? That's 20 and 21. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty standard MBN, aggro fast advance suite. How have you found Exploder Palooza?
Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's less great. I think in this type of deck, when we're really trying to leverage an early money advantage, I think it could be good. Compared to other decks where that money differential might not matter as much. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's true. Having more money than your opponent in this is really good, especially if you can use those advertisements and things to disrupt the early game. What we will have, our ice will stay online for much longer. So let's move to ice now, I suppose. One of the best things I had about my previous list was Architect, just because, I don't know, when I was testing it, people seem to face check a lot against MBN decks. I'm thinking that maybe still poking around to see whether you're playing Data Ravens or whether you're playing more porous ice like Nearest Hub. Usually Architects would fire a lot, but as we know, they're now on the most wanted list. So I think I think the deck still really needs it, so we're going to pop 2 in. I think we'll start with 2 Architect. Yeah, just the tempo advantage you get from even just if one of your architects fires once, it can be really, really good for you, especially in a deck that'll have like a lot of assets, like I imagine we're going to end up with.
I think we need to put pop-ups in. We
Yeah, I was
need
going to say, yeah,
pop-ups.
three pop-ups next. I'm also going to go 3 special offer as well. I really like special offer. Some people don't like it for some reason, but it's just it's
I
weird.
think it's
Those
great.
same people tell me how good Exploder Blitz is, and I'm just like, well, this is the same ability except you don't lose 2 points. It is quite good. It can get you up from 1 credit if you've been siphoned. You can really and you can bait out a run, res it, drain them 1, take 5 yourself. It's quite good. So 3 special offer. Some just early gear check or binary ice. So let's throw in 3 quandary.
Quandary, no,
Yeah.
no enigma.
No, maybe Enigma. I'm going to think about that, but I definitely want 3 Quandary. I love Quandary a lot. It tests quite well. Do you not like? You're not a fan of Quandary?
Oh no, I like Quandary. I guess this is the headspace that I'm in. I've been playing Noise for like a year and a half,
Yeah. So
and the
Parasite's a
most
thing.
and the most wanted list did not really affect my decision making. When people were like, "Oh, Parasite costs influence now," I'm like, "Cool,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
still going in."
Yeah.
Like,
I've been playing Noise post most wanted list, and it's still very strong. You feel the pain from losing the clone chips a little bit, but
it
like
just
it's
makes your
still
games
good.
messier. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes your games messy, and you have to be a bit more proactive with the parasiting, but that's fine. You have to do a bit more gear checking. That's no problem. Now,
Yeah.
I really like Quandary. You want to stay ahead as much as possible in a list like this. So the cheaper ice you have early to res, just to keep online as long as possible, is good. So we're going to go with 3 of them and pop in 1 Enigma at this point. We might put another one. I like Enigma a lot, but it gets blanked almost as easy as Quandary does by like pretty much any sort of decoder. Obviously not as vulnerable to Parasite, but I mean you got to call your shots when you can. I haven't played an NBN deck for a long time without 3 wraparound in it, so put 3 wraparound in it because I just also cannot stand the most obnoxious way I can lose a game of Netrunner. Sorry, I'm not being obnoxious when I lose, but the most obnoxious way to win a game of Netrunner is to keyhole somebody to death with an eater and a siphon, and I'm just like, oh my god! So I'm never going below 3 wraparounds if I can afford it at any point, because those decks still aren't playing fractors. Some of them are, but most of them are not, and it just feels really, really good. So I don't know how you feel about wraparound, but
No, I love wraparound.
it's pretty gross. Yeah, it's dope.
So, what are we gonna put in here for meat, though?
For meat, I don't think we're going to have any meat. No meat. Let's score stuff. We got the 2 architects. What else we got? Do we have 3 Quandaries?
No, I mean meaty ice.
Oh, I know you mean meaty ice. Let's not have
Okay.
any. Let's win before that. Put a roto turret in. We've still got some.
A
some
roto
stuff
turret, huh?
1 roto turret. I'm thinking we need another sentry. That's 1 influence. Can you think of any other 1 influence sentries that are somewhat painful to gear check?
What's Neural Katana? I think
Neural
Neural
Katana.
Katana's no, it's 2.
It's 2 influence.
If only there was a way I could search. Bye.
Yeah, I know. Or what about Swordsman? Is Swordsman 2? Doesn't really do much.
No, Swordsman's
Yeah.
1.
Swordsman's 1? Is it cheaper to res?
Swordsman's 3 to res, 2 strength.
Okay, so it's actually cheaper, and it does 1 net damage, 2 strength.
And it kills Faust.
Yeah, I'm scared of Faust and I'm scared of Eater, so maybe throw in 1 of those instead of the roto turret. I think you can cut the roto turret. I think we need both. I mean, if I'm going to spend 4 to res something, it's going to be an architect, and that's as high as we're going to go.
We're at 16 ice.
16 ice.
Do we want resistors?
Resistor. What does that even do? Is it 0 to res, and it only does something if you've got tags?
No. You're thinking of the other one. Resistor is the one that's trace 4 and the run, and it has +1 strength for each tag they have. But it's just a 0 cost 4 trace.
And what type of ice is it?
It's a barrier.
If we were going to go to that, I'd almost rather have paper walls, but I'm very biased. I love paper wall. Like, people hate it. I love paper wall. Let's stick for that at the moment. I think that ice should be alright. We might change some around.
All right, I'm gonna put it in the Jacksons.
Yeah. We're obviously going 3 Jacksons for sure.
Yeah.
Assets. I definitely want 3 pad campaign, 3 launch campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you looked at Reality 3D, I don't want to put it in this deck, but I've just been reminded of it now
I've had
because we're
such. I actually really want your opinion on that card because, like, I look
well,
at it and I'm like, man, this card could be so good if Bad Pub wasn't
it wasn't
disproportionately
so good.
good
Yeah, exactly. Right.
against NBN.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just it's got such anti-synergy with traces. It's got like this is the card we talk about this quite a lot on the winning agenda. It's a card that similar to Mental Health Clinic. That'll give you a reward for it straight away. So it's not like pad campaigns where you got to res it and wait to recoup the loss before you actually start to make more. But Reality
Right.
3D is really great, and I played an Argus deck for a long time, which was designed in such a way that you didn't care about bad publicity, and it was really, really good. And I was thinking if I could ever make an MBN deck that was similar, but it was just too hard to do. I mean, even when you've got 3 of these res, they go down to like 3 to trash, which is not too much. And then if you're also doing tag punishment, that means a lot of your influence is in, probably scorched or something like that, which means you don't have a lot of influence left for ice, which means you're left with the MBN ice, which are mostly traces and things like that. So,
Yeah.
if anyone out there is watching thinks they've got a really sweet Reality 3D deck, send it out in my way because I really like this card and I like it to be good. It's just bad publicity is really bad if you're not built around dealing with it. So anyway, so we've got 3 pad campaign, 3 launch campaign. I used to play 3 Adonis campaign, but the influence has become really stretched. So how much do we have left?
We have 5.
5, and I still want to play three Sand City grids. Can we just throw them in quickly too? We can't win without them. 3 Sand. And what's that leave with 2? So 1 Adonis campaign. Oh god, that doesn't feel good, does it?
No, it doesn't. But sometimes
No, it doesn't.
sacrifices must be made.
Must be made for the greater, fast advancing good. All right. I've almost forgot my favorite card, possibly in a very long time. Product placement. We don't have 3 product placements yet.
Yeah, here that's a really good card for this deck.
Yeah.
Like
So well, it
comically
is.
good.
It's comically unplayable in almost any other identity, but this, like I
In
was
this,
saying,
it's amazing.
oh yeah. I mean, we were talking, at the start of the video about how, saying proactively resing something like a pad campaign or a launch campaign to drain your opponent of credit. And this is the best one to do it with because it costs you nothing. And if they lose 1, and if they're like, wow, I want to go get rid of that, they have to give you another 2 and give themselves another -2. So what we're going to want to do is put like 3 product placements in the same server with a sand.
Oh, that's awful.
That's the ideal place because you're just like, sure, if you're going to down there, we're going to go for a 12 credit swing between us here, and it's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to res my next sand, not even blink.
So we have 6.
Yeah. You got the hedge funds in there as well?
I figured we'd do hedge fund sweeps weeks to close out the deck.
Now, hedge fund, obviously, chuck 3 in there. If we're going to make room for sweeps week, I don't know if I want to because I sworn against ever playing a fast advanced deck again that does not play 3 fast tracks. I need to have 3 fast tracks in a fast advanced deck.
3 fast tracks, not 2
3
fast tracks. 3 of them.
3 of them, not 2, 3. And
you
I
want to
can
explain the logic there?
Well, I tell you what, I will stop playing 3 fast track when people stop passing the turn when I've got an Astro counter and a res Sand. Because people do that surprisingly often still. And in this kind of deck, when you can make it really hard to trash that Sand or make it difficult for the runner to do it, the 3 fast tracks are quite good. I might eat my words later and it'll be like, wow, I wish we had Sweeps Week. But I think Sweeps Week is an easier card for a bit of play around these days. Sweeps Week isn't as good as it used to be when Andromeda was around. I'm not saying Sweeps Week is bad. I'm just saying for this type of deck, we've already got quite a lot of money. And I think we need to be... If we have a window to score an agenda that the runner's given us, we need to take it as soon as possible because we're going to try and keep them in the early game for as long as possible. And if we're sitting there being like, well, I need to draw an agenda to try and score it, we're giving them more time to recoup their losses and get in and trash our sands or steal agendas from any other place that we're just sitting there and we can't score them. So I want to go with 3 fast tracks. I'm sensing you're not agreeing with me here.
No. I just want, that's, okay. So
Yeah.
One of the things that I personally enjoy most about having anybody on the show is that every single person I've met in the course of making this show, even people of varying skill levels, right? Everybody
Hmm.
has a different ethos, and it's all informed by your experience. That's not something
Of
that I
course.
would ever think to do, so I want to hear that. And
Yeah.
when you explain it, it makes sense because I haven't played a
Mhm.
ton of Fast Advance in my time, at least not NBN Fast Advance, where you have the Astro
Yeah.
script and the Sand grids. So that logic makes sense. But like you said, if
Hmm.
you get different people in with different experiences, you're going to get a better view of Netrunner and you're going to get better at Netrunner,
Yeah,
which is what.
exactly right. And like I said, we're here to build a deck and test it, and maybe we'll have a couple of games and be like, well, maybe we were a bit poor in the early game. We could have used those extra sweet tweaks because one of the hate things about fast track is that until you need it, it does nothing, and it just sits in your hand and
Right.
does nothing at all. But the amount of games I've won just because I had a fast track in my hand on the turn where I had the window is it's I couldn't even begin to count them. So, and I know a lot of players that are much better than myself don't play a full three, and that's fine. But I really like having three. So we'll see how we go. I mean, um,
What do you want to call
ideally,
this?
I'd call it. Oh, geez, I don't know, 20% off.
Uh,
um, literally no idea. I don't name my decks. All my decks are like technical names.
so we'll call it the Spark Winter Sale. You
Ah,
have
that's
Steam.
great. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Even
Yeah.
though it's 42 degrees Celsius where I am right now, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
It's also frighteningly warm where I live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for this time of year. It
All
was
right.
I was outside in a t-shirt yesterday in January.
Oh, yeah, that's bizarre. Yeah,
Yeah,
far out.
yeah. So
Okay.
Spark Winter Sale, that's what we'll call it. All right.
Yeah, that
So
sounds good.
you have any final thoughts before we move on to the test run?
Yeah. Look, ideally, I'm still not sure if we should be forcing the architect in here. It just feels really good. I'm not sure what to replace it with. You could argue that we could find something better to do with that influence, like put the full three Adonis campaigns in there. But um, I like how the deck is looking. It's obviously very different. It had to make a lot of concessions to the most wanted list, but that's why the most wanted list is there. And I really like the most wanted list. I think it's opened a lot of design space. It's forced people to change around a lot of strategies. And I get to play noise again. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I've been playing him since he was arguably terrible.
yeah.
So
I remember those days.
yeah,
Fast hadn't been pretty good.
when and it started. It was like a slow burn because when Cash
Yeah.
was first spoiled, I'm like, oh boys, you hear this? We got a chance.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then it was like, no, not quite there yet. Soon though. Yeah.
yeah, but soon. And then Faust came out, and I'm like, all right, let's dial this up to 11 because we've got a real
Yeah.
breaker now.
Yeah, that engine is insane. Yeah,
Uh,
it's great. Anyway, I'm so about this list at the moment, but I think we should just get in there and have some games. See how we go.
Yeah, let's see how it
Yeah,
goes. Everybody,
yeah.
thank you very much for joining me and Brian. We're going to be testing this deck against some random people on Jinteki after this. We'll catch you all next time.
See you guys.